So, a caricature of Mormon faith is that Mormons believe that Mormon goddesses will spend eternities having spiritual sex and reproducing in a spiritual way, literally having spirit children develop inside them. And this is most infamously depicted in the God Makers. And there have been prophetic statements and apostolic statements in the past that indicated this or, indicated certain parts of this. This definitely isn't baseless. But, I just caught something in one of the Doctrine and Covenants verses, something which I think maybe I just kind of glanced over or forgot about previously because, it's a very long section. But in section 132, it's talking about exaltation for women. It's in verse 63. So it says that, these women are given to men for their exaltation in the eternal worlds, that they may bear the souls of men. And, I'm not sure exactly how you would interpret that other than in a very literal way. I mean, bearing the souls of men. Of course, there's section 93, which, talks about how as intelligence we were all co-eternal with God, but I think Mormons are too quick to use that section to, say that these ideas of, being created by God or the ideas of, being born in some sense, spiritually or whatever, are just like completely baseless or metaphorical. I think there probably is just a degree of contradiction in the, modern LDS scriptures there. But if you're talking about bearing the souls of men, I mean, how else are you supposed to take that? That's a genuine question. I mean, it seems like maybe the implication is that you existed in some kind of elemental raw state as an intelligence, but not really as a full human soul. And you would think then that like, oh, maybe you were like tutored somehow spiritually, celestially, to kind of become a human soul in some sense. But if you look at 132 and the language around eternal marriage and bearing the souls of men, it's a very different picture. It's a picture of Mormon gods and goddesses, as one of the past prophets said, having a internal increase in the natural way. So yeah, I think there's definitely a strong possibility that this was just a contradiction, that Joseph maybe didn't think this all out, or maybe there's some kind of complex explanation for it. But I don't think you can just dismiss it by bringing up section 93. I think it's still a legitimate question as to how literally are Mormon goddesses bearing the souls of men. That's an important question.